Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're tackling something absolutely crucial. We're going to break down the exact steps you need to take to formalize your business and, most importantly, protect your personal assets by forming an LLC in the great state of South Carolina. Whether you're finally turning that weekend side hustle into a full-time gig or launching a brand new startup from scratch, we're going to walk through this whole process together, step by step.
But first, I really want you to imagine a high-stakes scenario. You're running a fantastic local business, maybe a bakery, maybe a consulting firm, and then one day the unthinkable happens. A customer slips on a wet floor, or maybe a client claims a breach of contract and they decide to sue. Well, without the proper legal structure in place, suddenly everything you own, your personal savings, your car, literally even your home, is right on the line to cover a business mistake. It's a pretty terrifying thought, right? And that is exactly why establishing limited liability protection is the absolute most critical first step for any entrepreneur.
Okay, let's dive into this. What exactly is an LLC anyway? Well, a limited liability company is a legal business structure that essentially draws a thick, impenetrable line right between your personal finances and your business. The LLC becomes its own completely separate legal entity. So if the business gets sued or can't pay its debts, creditors generally cannot come after your personal bank account or your house. It acts as the ultimate shield for your personal assets.
To get that shield in place, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The SC LLC advantage. 2. Naming your business. 3. The registered agent requirement. 4. Filing your LLC. 5. Agreements and EIN. And 6. Taxes and ongoing compliance.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the SCLLC advantage.
South Carolina is honestly incredibly business-friendly. First and foremost, there is no annual franchise tax on LLCs. Now, in a lot of other states, you literally have to write a check every single year just for the privilege of existing as an LLC, but not in South Carolina. Plus, LLCs offer what's called pass-through taxation. This just means the business itself doesn't pay federal corporate income taxes. Instead, all those profits and losses pass straight through to your personal tax return. This is a massive perk because it helps you completely avoid the dreaded double taxation that traditional corporations have to deal with. Combine all of that with a generally low cost of doing business and some really thriving local startup communities, and you've got an incredible foundation.
Moving right along to Section 2, naming your business.
So, locking in your name is basically a simple three-step process. First up, your business name absolutely must include a mandatory designator that shows its limited liability status. Most folks just tack on LLC at the end, but you can also spell out Limited Liability Company or use L.L.C. Second, South Carolina operates on a strict distinguishability standard. In plain English, your name cannot be too similar to any other business name that's already registered or reserved in the state. Finally, you'll want to jump online and use the South Carolina Secretary of State Business Entity Search tool. It's totally free. Just type in your idea, hit search, and make sure nothing identical pops up. And actually, pro tip here, if you find the absolute perfect name but you aren't quite ready to file your official paperwork today, you can actually file to reserve that name for up to 120 days.
Now, a quick heads up here. You've got to be careful about restricted terminology. While endings like LLC or LTD Co. are perfectly acceptable, state law flat out prohibits you from using words that imply your business does something it isn't actually licensed to do. For instance, if you try to sneak words like bank, trust, or insurance into your name, your application is going to be immediately rejected. Unless, of course, you can provide proof of specialized licensing for those industries. So just keep it simple, straightforward, and accurate to what you actually do.
Let's move on to Section 3, the registered agent requirement.
Okay, so a registered agent. This person or service is the official, recognized point of contact between your business and the state government. Their main job, to receive service of process, which is just the formal legal term for getting served with a lawsuit, as well as important official tax notices. The state is really strict about this. Your agent must have a physical street address right there in South Carolina. P.O. boxes, virtual offices, nope, totally prohibited. They also must be available at that address during standard business hours, Monday through Friday. Why is this such a big deal? Well, if you get sued and no one is there to actually receive the legal papers, you could lose the lawsuit entirely by default. Now, you can legally act as your own registered agent if you meet all those requirements, but honestly, a lot of founders opt to hire a professional commercial service. It ensures compliance and it keeps your home address completely off the public record.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds into officially filing your SC LLC.
To actually legally create your LLC, you have to file a document called the Articles of Organization with the South Carolina Secretary of State. This is the big one. It asks for basic info, like your LLC's name, your principal office address, and the name and signature of your registered agent and organizer. You've got two ways to handle this. You can print it out and file by mail, which costs $110 and usually takes about 7 to 10 business days to process. Or you can use their online portal. Now, online filing does carry a slightly higher fee of $125 because they tack on a $15 electronic access fee. But the massive advantage? It usually processes in just 1 to 2 business days. For most entrepreneurs who are eager to hit the ground running, spending that extra $15 to go the online route is absolutely a no-brainer.
All right, almost there. Section 5, Agreements and EIN.
First up, let's talk about the operating agreement. Now listen closely. South Carolina law does not legally mandate that you have a written operating agreement on file. However, skipping this is a massive, massive risk. This is your internal rulebook. It outlines exactly how your business is run, how profits are split up, and what happens if an owner decides they want to leave. Even if you're flying solo as a single-member LLC, having this agreement is vital. Why? Because it proves to courts and to banks that you are a legitimate, separate business entity, which just reinforces that shield protecting your personal assets. And if you're going into business with partners, it is absolutely essential to prevent minor internal disagreements from blowing up into costly public lawsuits down the road.
The very next thing you'll need to grab is an Employer Identification Number, or EIN for short. Just think of an EIN like a social security number, but for your business. It's a mandatory 9-digit ID issued directly by the IRS. You're going to need this to do basically anything official: opening a business bank account, hiring employees, filing your taxes, the whole shebang. And the best part? Getting an EIN is completely free. You can apply for it directly on the IRS website, and it honestly just takes a few minutes.
Finally, Section 6, Taxes and Ongoing Compliance. Let's make sure you stay in good standing.
And this brilliantly illustrates where things get really interesting. South Carolina offers a completely unique and highly beneficial tax strategy. Remember a few minutes ago how we talked about LLC income passing through to your personal tax return? Well, South Carolina taxes individual income at a graduated rate that can climb up to 7%. But business owners can optionally elect to use South Carolina Form I-335. This allows their eligible active trade or business income to be taxed at a flat reduced rate of just 3%. That is a huge difference. It can be an incredibly powerful tax-saving strategy for profitable LLCs, and it's absolutely something you should bring up with a CPA when tax season rolls around.
Beyond state income tax, there are just a few other compliance things you need to keep on your radar. Notably, South Carolina does not require standard LLCs to file a general annual report with the Secretary of State, which is great, saves you a headache. But the SC Department of Revenue does require you to file an annual tax return. Also, depending on exactly where you're located and what industry you're in, you are very likely going to need to register for a local municipal business license. If you're selling physical goods or certain taxable services, you've got to apply for a sales tax registration through their My Doorway portal. And lastly, always double-check if your specific profession requires any specialized industry permits to operate legally.
Now, the really great news, you don't have to memorize all of this, and you definitely don't have to do it entirely on your own. There are some incredible resources out there to help you navigate this whole journey. The SC Secretary of State online portal is excellent for your initial filings and name searches. Professional registered agent services can totally handle your compliance deadlines and mail processing so you don't have to stress about it. And leaning on local small business development centers or a certified CPA can literally save you thousands of dollars by ensuring your taxes are structured the right way from day one.
Now, real quick, as we wrap up, I do need to share a standard professional disclaimer. The content in this explainer is meant for informational and educational purposes only. I'm an enthusiastic explainer, not your lawyer or your accountant. Every single business is entirely unique, so please make sure to consult with a professional, legal, or financial advisor about your specific situation before making any major structural decisions.
And with that, you now possess the complete step-by-step roadmap to formalize your business and protect those hard-earned personal assets in South Carolina. From securing that perfect, unique name to taking advantage of that awesome 3% flat tax rate, you've got the knowledge. So I want to leave you with one final question to think about. What is the very first step you are going to take today? Go run that free name search, lock down your EIN, and make your business dream a legal reality. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy building.